Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hello, friends.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. As always, I am joined by my fabulous co-host, Kate Sittars. Hello, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Lots of hellos.
Lots of hellos. So many hellos. And today we are very excited to be joined by a copywriter and star CCA student, Steffan Houthausen. Steffan, how are you?
I'm very well, and very kudos on the pronunciation of my name there as well. I'm doing very well, and I'm really happy to be here and talking to you guys.
We are so excited to have you here. And as we were saying, you are the first Dutch student to be on the podcast. So congratulations, gold star.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm a proud Dutchie and proud to be here.
And we're thrilled to have you. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about in this episode, but we might as well just go kind of all the way back to the beginning and talk about how you got started in copywriting. What was the impetus for you?
Well, if we go way back, I have a background in journalism actually, and that's how I started off writing. So I do have a bit of writing experience there, and then life took a bit of a turn, and I packed my bags and I became a chef. I did that for many years as a pastry chef, actually. And then, like as we all know, obviously the pandemic hit the industry very hard. And then that's when I kind of got started writing again. My boss at that time asked me to write some landing pages for him because they were struggling, obviously, to get people in the door. And asked me to do some social posts, some email campaigns as well. And I was like, yeah, why not? We have time now. I'm up for it. And I kind of enjoyed that. And then I was like, hey, this is really cool. And I can actually make money out of this. So that kind of snowballed into, me picking up more gigs. And now I'm working for an insurance company as their in-house copywriter.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Took a bit of a detour there, but I'm here now.
Well, I mean, I think the interesting paths that we take all just help us be even better as in our copywriting fields because we have that different perspective, right?
Yeah, true. I agree totally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, as you were learning copywriting, was there anything that you found you really loved about it, you really gravitated toward? Was there anything that you found especially challenging for some reason?
As in, like, what kind of channels to write for, or what do you mean by that?
Really anything, just
anything.
Kind of dig into your story.
Well, no, I really enjoyed the whole research part of writing, actually, of copywriting. I found that with researching, I learned so much new stuff and knowledge, and I can implement that in this way. But what I love to do most was email copy. I think I naturally gravitate mostly towards like a bit of more short form, a bit more direct. What I didn't really like doing, especially with my background also in journalism and more content as well, is more of long form. So I think that is something that I'm working on as well. This is something that I need to get better at as well, I guess. But I naturally gravitate more towards like email, short copy, ads, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that your background in journalism helped you in some ways? Do you feel like, or do you feel like it hindered you in some ways, or a little bit of both?
No, I think it did definitely help the process before you actually start writing. Obviously, as a journalist, there's a lot of stuff going into writing an article before you actually start writing. So. I do think it was very beneficial to me to have that background. Obviously, there is I'm doing everything in Dutch right now. Obviously, when I was following CCA, everything was in English, and obviously, the Dutch was always is my native language, obviously. So, the whole writing process, the whole writing part, I kind of had that under my belt as well. But obviously, content and copy is a different ball game. But yeah, it's definitely beneficial for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because you kind of got started during COVID-19. And I think, a lot of folks in the CCA that kind of joined during that period probably experienced some similar things. But I know you mentioned we have the benefit of knowing a bit more before we get on the podcast, folks. But I know you had mentioned before we chatted about, being able to help people in the service industry during that time. So can you speak to a bit about that and just really diving into, because I think some people are very afraid to just go for it and don't realize how much they can help right out the gate.
Well, yeah, like I was lucky that in a sense I started writing like for a restaurant in that way. And obviously that was my expertise back then as a chef. So I knew what I was writing about. And yeah, it made like such a difference because obviously everybody had to change from full restaurants to takeout. So yeah, we kind of got it going by helping and setting up email campaigns with discounts and social posts. So yeah, it really made a difference in a sense that they didn't have to, shut down, I don't want to say, but they didn't have to close the doors in that sense, where a lot of restaurants that didn't really had a strategy or an idea behind it. Some of them, they had to close down. I'm not saying obviously that because of me and us making these email campaigns and social posts saved lives, but at least we had some people coming in the door, which made life a bit more easy for the owners at that time, obviously. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really great insight because as copywriters, sometimes we can get so focused on trying to get work, trying to get that next client, working with our clients and doing the writing, that we forget what an impact our writing can have on these businesses. Certainly during times when it is when there is a massive upheaval, like during a pandemic, but even just on a daily basis, the work that we do really helps businesses continue to run and grow. And then, of course, whoever those businesses help, we help by contributing to those businesses. Yeah.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rewarding in that sense as well to see that knock-on effect. Indeed, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you have transitioned into copywriting, and I know that you are working, you landed a full-time copywriting job, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there anything that has been surprising, spending all of your time writing copy as opposed to the previous roles that you felt certainly very different from being a pastry chef, I would imagine?
Yeah, no, of course, it's like it's completely different. If something actually changed or surprised me in that sense, that's a good question, actually. To be fair, like this is my first like full-time copywriting job. What I've done before is more like project-based stuff. So what changed for me a lot is obviously like you have now the benefits of a whole creative team. Where actually before my process was more like, hey, we need this and this by that date in this format, and you send it over and then you get the feedback and it. And being in-house with the whole creative team is so much more rewarding for me at this point of my career, at this stage, because we can just fire at each other, and we all get better in that sense. That also has its cons, obviously, that it has to go through so many layers of people before actually things get published. So that's a bit annoying from time to time, but I think at this stage of my career, the transition from being a pastry chef to a copywriter, I think I'm at the right spot at the right time. So yeah, I have the ball in my hand and I want to run with it as far as I can at this point, let's say.
I love that.
I love it.
I'm curious, speaking of that in-house role, was that your goal when you first started out, or were you unsure? You were taking project to project work. So yeah, walk us through kind of that thought process and
Yeah, well, it was never really my goal. It was a bit like I was a bit unsure of what to do. However, I had months where obviously I had great months, but also I had months where it was less good. And at a certain point, I was like, am I actually learning as much as I want at this point?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, maybe it makes sense for me to go in-house, to, like I just said, to be with the creative team, with the creative director and other copywriters. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe financially in this sense, it may be less attractive. But I think at this point, I'm learning so much that it can actually only push myself forward for the time coming. Also, that said, like my girlfriend and me were trying to buy a house here in the Netherlands, and in order to make a down payment or to buy a house, you need certain documents. So I was also like, hey, for now, it's a good thing to do. So it was multiple things. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that. I mean, we always talk about how copywriting is so flexible depending on life stage, what's going on in life, what you need in the moment. So I think that's smart that you are taking it as such, that you know that there's options. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. And like it's not that I want to stay like in-house or on staff somewhere for the rest of my life. Like ideally, I would love to go back to freelancing. So yeah, I do have that goal still on the horizon, but yeah, let's see. I'll take it day by day, and we'll see what happens.
You don't mind sharing what kinds of projects are you working on at your company? Are you working on? Is it still mostly like short form and email and social, or what types of things are you doing?
No, like it's a lot at the moment. To be honest, like we're like a startup and we're just scaling at the moment. Mm-hmm. So there's also a bit of content management there. So yeah, I do a lot of things at the moment. Like I'm also doing a bit of PR. I'm not doing as much copywriting as I would like. Mm-hmm. But there's, I think it's like percentage wise, I think it's like 30% copy, 30% content. And then what do we have left? 40% of all kinds of bits and other stuff. And the idea is, well, I'm not sure because I haven't been there that long, but the idea is to slowly, gradually start going towards like a marketing manager role.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not really sure if that's per se the route that I want to take though, but as of now, like I said before, I'm just taking it day by day, and I'll take it, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but it's all kinds of things. Yeah, it's all kind of things.
Yeah. That's the fun of working at a startup, right? Is that it's like, all right, somebody's got to do it. I'll do it. Yeah,
it's exactly like that. Yeah, day by day basis. Yeah. So it is what it is.
That's very cool.
Such a good place to learn so much too. Even if you don't end up to your point, if you don't take that path, all right, at least I know and I explore
exactly.
It.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it as well. And then, like I'm really happy that like I got the opportunity as well to come on board. So yeah, like I said, the ball in my hands, and I'll just run as far as I can, let's say, and then we'll see where we end up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what's the creative team like? Are you the only writer, and then there's designer? What's the makeup of that team?
Yeah, we have two designers at the moment. We have one creative director that is like overseeing the 3 markets, because we are in the Netherlands, but we're also in France and Germany. So we have like dedicated teams there. And I'm basically the lead. I don't want to say, but I'm the lead writer, let's say. And we're slowly building the team. So there's a few people joining us from September. So we're scaling really fast. That's where we have a team of, I think, 11 people right now, but we're looking to expand there. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's a bit hectic from time to time, but it keeps it fun as well. Yeah. Especially because we're speaking about insurance. So it's like, it's not the most sexy topic.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge as well.
That's cool. Well, and when you're newer to it, this is a good time to be doing it in your career when you're still like, when copy is still even relatively fresh. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the energy for all of that. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and selfishly, because I actually follow a decent number of pastry chefs on Instagram, are you at all thinking about, if you go back to freelance copywriting, would you do any pastry chefery is not the right term, but would you?
Nikki wants you to send her some pastries. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, I'll send them over. I don't know how they will taste after a few days though, but I can totally. Ideally, I would love to combine the two in a way, like to be able to write about food in the sense that would be great. Because obviously now I'm writing for an insurance company, which is completely different and has an image that is not the best as well. So there's a challenge. But actually going back into chefing, if that was your question, no, I don't really see that happening. I do from time to time though still do some catering stuff, but that's more for friends and family, let's say, but not in a professional setting anymore. No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are lucky friends and family, though.
Yes.
Yeah, more or less, something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now you joined the CCA in 2021 at some point in 2021, and it's now 2023, and you have a full-time on-staff position writing copy. So clearly, you are very much a success story. What advice do you have to people who are maybe just getting started, or maybe even just kind of considering getting started as a copywriter?
It sounds cliche, but just go for it and do it. I remember when I started the CCA, I was very eager to learn, but also really overwhelmed with like, hey, where do I start? This is a lot. I have no knowledge of these tactics, these formats, and that kind of stuff. But then I kind of broke it down I kind of like made a menu for myself to stay a bit in chef's terms, and kind of focus like, hey, let's do 2 weeks only this, let's do 2 weeks only that, let's get good at that, quote unquote, and then keep it going. And then these small wins, they actually add up, and then after months of consistent work, then you're like, hey, actually I kind of getting the hang of this, even though like when I started off, like my first drafts, they were I can't say the word, I guess, but they were not good.
You can say it in Dutch, maybe. We'll say.
Yeah, no, it's similar to that one, so let's not do it. But once you keep going and stay consistent, you take quantum leaps though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And really that everybody starts in the same place, right? Not knowing anything about it. True. I think the funny thing as adults is that, you're a smart person. You knew going into the program that you didn't know anything about copywriting, or not a lot about copywriting, but there's still that when you get into it, you go, wait, I don't know this yet. And it can be a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is I can totally relate to the people that are posting in the CCA group, like that it's super overwhelming, but they're super eager to learn. And I really recognize myself there as well. And honestly, I never thought that also I would be chatting with you guys right now after listening to multiple episodes. So it is possible, let's say. You just gotta keep pushing. And I was lucky in a sense that I really created a certain time frame for myself where I gave myself 2-3 months to go full on, like to go all in. And obviously that's not feasible for everybody. I understand that, but I was lucky that I could create that time frame for myself and really dedicated to learning the craft, to follow all the modules, all the steps. And then after 2 or 3 months, like it was a difference of night and day almost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I really think your success is a testament to following the steps, seeing what's there, and yes, you're right. There is a lot in the CCA, we call it comprehensive for a reason, right? A lot you don't need to do right away, but, and maybe you'll never need to do, but, I think it's so important for everyone to understand that the way that you approached it was, okay, I see this. I'm a little bit uncomfortable. I'm just going to dig in. I'm going to take the steps. I'm just going to do the work, whether I feel like it some days or whether I don't. Your commitment is very admirable. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. And don't be afraid to ask for feedback is what I see as well. And what I had as well after my first few drafts, let's say, that I was a bit hesitant of putting it online in the CCA group. You're like, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? But in the end, you have to kind of do it also to get better, because there's so many smart people in that group that can give you tons of valuable feedback on there. And then, just do it in that sense. Mm-hmm. Put your ego aside, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is hard to do. Fine.
It is very hard to do. It is very hard to do. But if you follow the steps, it works. It really works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, I was super, super happy as well. Like you really, I remember, I think you guys made like a 3-part interview podcast series.
For interviewing.
I think, exactly that one. I listened to that one like a million times, I guess. And it really, really, really got me through a few moments there. Yeah. So if people are listening and they are looking for interviewing or whatever, please go back and listen to those.
That's great.
I could hear they were helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're skewing our podcast statistics. That why those episodes are doing so well. No, I'm kidding.
That's amazing.
I'm kidding.
So, Steffan, if someone is listening to this and they're thinking, he's so smart, he's a great copywriter, can I hire him to write copy for me? Where can people find you?
Well, I don't know if they really think I'm that smart, to be honest, but you can find me online on my website, which is called somewrittenids.com. I have to admit that I haven't really updated my portfolio there in a bit, so I will work on that as well. And for the rest on socials as well, but I'm not gonna. I think if I pronounce my name, people will be like, "What?" So maybe we can, write it somewhere or something. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We will put it in the show notes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, Steffan, this has been so fantastic. I know you're going to inspire a lot of students when they hear this. So thank you so much for being on the podcast, joining us today. Yeah,
no worries. Thanks for having me. Real pleasure. And I hope I could inspire some of you listening to this.
Absolutely. The pleasure is ours. And so with that, we will catch everybody in the next episode. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.